myself will suffer the consequences. The wisdom of Elijah is inside of the conscientious, so I move.
And you need to know what's really going on. Yes, sir.
I want to know, sir, why the Europeans are so insecure about the other people? I mean, what's right about Iraq can get the nuclear?
It's a very intelligent question.
Where they go, they kill people.
It's a very intelligent question. Very intelligent question. And the question is, why are the Europeans so insecure about other people in the world? And why do you, after everywhere you go, you gotta kill and murder the rest of the people of the human family? Your history is written in the blood of the black, the brown, the yellow, and the red. Why are you so insecure? Do you know what brings about insecurity? What brings about insecurity is when you have a false concept of yourself. And the false concept of self is white supremacy. They believe that they are better because they are white. And as a result, see, when a man has that kind of silly mentality, Hitler had the silly mentality that the white man, the Aryan, is superior. So then at the Olympics, Jesse Owens kicks up all the Aryans. Hitler is outraged. He's angry.
That's very simplistic.
Yeah. Well, you need it to be simplistic. You need it to be extra simplistic.
You see, they can't even take the
reality. I know they can't handle. You know, look, when you take a brick, and you hurl the brick among a pack of dogs, only the dog who gets hit yelps. Think about it. You hear a lot of barking. A dog just got hit by a brick. No teeth. It's very simplistic because it's not complicated. The white man pushing white supremacy. That's why they would cut off our penis when they would lynch us. Penis envy. They're afraid of the black man because of our potency, because of our manliness. Because when you look at the black man, he's a real man. He's strong. So then they would have us as mandingos, fighting one another. That's why even today, they want to be the heavyweight champion of the world. They can't find a white man to do it. So they tried to turn a black man, Frank Bruno, into a white man. They called him the Great White Hope. They're desperate. They deny us. I'm talking about the insecurity. We're not allowed to play golf. Why are we not allowed to play golf? Because we are inferior. We can't play the game. But let one black man into golf. Then all of a sudden there's a tiger in the woods. And he doesn't just play golf. He becomes the master. We're not allowed to play tennis. Let black people into tennis. We go straight to Wimbledon and win it in 1935. A black woman. Now, Venus and Serena, they run out of opponents. They have to play each other. The white people cannot compete on an even playing field. They let us into athletics. You can't run like us. You let us into any field of endeavor, we dominate it. So they push supremacy because there is an inert inferiority. Go ahead, brother. And so when somebody is inferior, they have to give the impression of being superior. Hence all the weapons, hence all the artillery, hence all the media and the propaganda and the program of brainwashing the entire world into believing in their way of life as opposed to any other way of life. And they become very afraid of anything that goes contrary. And so every time a black man stands up for black people, Martin Luther King, shot down. Malcolm X, shot down. Patrice Lumumba, shot down. Steve Biko, shot down. Everyone. Nelson Mandela, they locked him up for 27 years. They did a documentary the other day. In the documentary, you got the white man in South Africa. He's now admitting that for the 27 years they had Nelson Mandela locked up, they said they were slow poisoning him to destroy his mental faculties. When they deemed that he was no longer a potent force, they let him out. Now they let him out and they get children to play music and they say, Nelson dance. And they show the world the great statesman, Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, whose wife, Winnie Mandela, a warrior queen, kept his name alive and kept the struggle going for 27 years. Nelson comes out, they slander her name. Nelson leaves her. Now they target Winnie, because Winnie, when Nelson came and shook Margaret Thatcher's hand, went and shook Reagan's hand, Winnie said, I'm not shaking their hand. They are the enemy. Right. So Winnie wouldn't bow, Nelson would bow. So they said, okay, now we embrace Nelson. Give him to the world as the great statesman. Look, he's wonderful. Look, he smiles with everybody. He dances. Because that's how you like to see the black man. Dancing. See, Farrakhan don't dance. Come on. Right. The Nation of Islam don't dance. We're soldiers. Right. You don't like to see a black soldier because you think that your armies are so great. You ain't seen an army till you see the black man's army. That's right. You ain't seen discipline. See, you're afraid of the Nazis. You talk about the Nazis and their jackboots. You ain't seen marching yet. When you see the black man, when he mobilizes, and you have never taken us on a no battlefield, never. You have only ever defeated black people via stealth, via divide and rule, via feigning friendship and coming in and then destroying us from within. That's over. That's why you don't see none of you in this circle. That's right. It's now very clear. It's now very black and white. We no longer are asking for acceptance. We no longer are asking you, love us. Can't you see we're human beings too? No, now we say, get thee behind me, Satan. Right. Now we say, we stand with God. George Bush says, you're either with me or you're with the terrorist. We say to George Bush, we're not with you and we're not with the terrorists. We stand with God. That's right. That's right. See, there's a third choice. Come on. But George Bush thinking himself to be so omnipotent. Come on. He's giving the world an alternative. You're either with me, sheer arrogance.
All right, family. Let's get into it. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Sincere Love, the Godcast. I am the God Sincere Love, here with my beautiful co-host, nyctegur. How you doing tonight, beloved?
I'm good. Peace and blessings, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Got your hair did, nails did, everything
did it myself.
Oh, you did it yourself?
I did.
Okay. You must have been doing that all day.
No, it took me about 2 hours though. About 2 hours.
Okay, well, it looks nice. Look very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. Baby hairs popping and all
that. Baby hairs laid with this 5 head.
That's what's up. So, man, lot going on this week, right?
Yeah. Well,
was just on Instagram Live talking about the Twitter space that you invited me to just now, where they were been a lot of Twitter spaces going on. We're going to talk about some of that tonight, but the one that you just invited me to, they were talking about that movie. What movie is that, by the way?
Was it a movie or was it just like a little short? I don't know.
Well, I heard the dude, one of the dudes said that he was doing security at the theater. Somebody that was
it was just like a video someone created for social media, I guess, to get a conversation started. I didn't know it was a movie, to be honest.
Yeah, because one of the dudes that was speaking in the room said he was doing security at the theater and people was bringing their kids in there and they had some graphic sex scenes and all of that. So I don't know what movie it is, but that scene, that barbershop scene went pretty viral. Tariq put it out. The scene where they were in the barbershop. Explain what was going on in that scene.
Well, basically, they just, were having like this conversation with this stud female, getting her hair cut. And they were just having conversations amongst each other, the men in the barbershop that do not exist in barbershop settings, in my opinion. Now, I don't know if they're saying that these are conversations that happen amongst Black straight men and stud females. Me, as a heterosexual woman, feminine woman, when I'm in a barbershop, there's nothing, and I can be the only woman in there. There can be other women in there. There's nothing but respect. And I have just never seen anything like this or conversations like this in a barbershop that I have ever been into. My son is 16, got his first haircut at 3. Never, ever, ever have I seen anything like this before. Never.
Facts. And for those that don't know, I am a barber. I am a barber by trade. I've been cutting hair for over 20 years. And it's nonsense, man. It's nonsense. It's these stereotypes that they like to push about just barbershop culture in order to demonize black men. Historically, especially straight black men. You know what I'm saying? Historically, barbershops has always been like the black man's country club. You know what I'm saying? We haven't had access to those prestigious country clubs and golf courses and stuff where white men like to congregate and discuss business and issues that are pertaining to their communities. So we've always used the barbershop as, that type of place where we get to congregate amongst ourselves and have open discussions about anything. All type of discussions take place in the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? It's not a one-dimensional thing, because like my brother Sean, if anybody see the post that I put up about this clip, there's a conversation that me and my brother Sean was having, and Sean was talking about how when it comes to the barbershop, no matter what level you on, everybody got to come through the barbershop to get their hair cut. So from the homeless dude that only get his hair cut, once or twice a year, to even the mayor of the city, to, the preachers, the police officers, lawyers, the street dudes, the hustlers, everybody got to come to the barbershop.
Right.
So that leaves for all types of different topics of discussion to take place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we got good enough sense. We all were raised by black women. We all got mothers, grandmothers, aunties, and all of that stuff. When the women come through, when there's kids around, we always show respect and put shade on the conversations. And I've been in some hood barbershops.
Right.
Some of the most hood niggas is some of the most respectful dudes you ever gonna meet in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Give up their seat to the women if there's no seats available. I've had the most. First of all, every shop that I go to is in hood. You know what I'm saying? Let me just pick it up. You know what I'm saying? And the most hood dude that you may see, tats on the face, everything. If there's no other seats, guess what? Here you go, sis. Right? So, and that's not something that you may think would happen because you like looking at this, gangster, but the respect level, like you said, is always there. Whatever conversations that may be happening prior to women and children coming in, it automatically transforms, right? I have just never been in a situation where it was an inappropriate conversation in the presence of women and children.
Indeed. And that goes for the studs too, man. Shout out to the studs. We get dozens of studs that come through on a weekly basis at the barbershop where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? And it's all love. You know what I'm saying? They be, they come through. Nobody don't make nothing uncomfortable. Even some of the gay dudes. A lot of gay dudes come to get their hair cut. We got ladies in the back that do locks and braids and stuff like that. Everybody comes to the barbershop. We don't make nobody feel uncomfortable or unwanted. It's business at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? We doing business. And as far as the language and the profanity, I remember when I was in New York, we used to have a swear jar because sometimes the conversations could get a little spicy, get a little heated. You talking sports or whatever, top 5 favorite rappers or whatever. Niggas get passionate about certain conversations, and sometimes you forget or you're not mindful of your surroundings. But we used to have a swear jar, and you had to put money in the jar every time you cursed, especially if it was kids or women around or elderly people around. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we know how to check ourselves, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like this whole, brainwashing and propaganda thing where black men just can't behave. One moment, they want to, paint you guys as sexual deviants. When you talk about rape culture or even pedophile culture, they will always somehow try to put a black man's face on all of this. And not to say that it doesn't happen within the black community and black culture. We're not the face of it. Black men are not the face of these things, but anything negative, derogatory, right? They always want to paint the picture of the black straight man definitely, being the face of it. And I guess conversations like they're having right now is good to have so that we can, point to the elephant in the room and cut it out. We're going to have to check that stuff when we see it and when we hear it.
Yeah, definitely. Very good conversation they was having in that Twitter space. Shout out to the brother Nas who was hosting that space.
Right,
I seen him hosting a few other spaces throughout the week, and I was trying to chime in, but a couple of times I was busy at work, and I couldn't really get it popping. But we're gonna have to hold some of our own Twitter spaces, man. We got some.
I like that.
We got some good perspectives. You know what I'm saying? I like the vibe. Especially when it's a respectful and constructive conversation taking place, and it ain't too much trolling going on and stuff like that. I like theirs the way that they organized it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know Tariq been holding spaces all throughout the week. His is a little less organized only because he's not just familiar with the functions, right? You know what I'm saying? But you could tell that the host that they had on this one, they're more familiar with the function, so they know how to mute people and time people out and keep people in line. You know what I'm saying? So I was paying attention to stuff like that. I was paying attention to the technical aspects of it because I'm like, okay, I want to do some of these, and I want to make sure that it's organized as well. So yeah,
I noticed how she's one of the hosts kind of shut down that suspected white supremacist that tried to get in there and get off topic. It was just like, you know what? Don't even entertain it. Done. Next. I love that.
I loved it. Mm-hmm. And she caught it early. As soon as he opens his mouth, she was like, wait a minute, are you even black?
Right.
Before we even get to you, it ain't your turn yet, but I just want to know, are you black, or are you just somebody putting up a black hand? Because the first thing that came out of his mouth, he gave himself away.
Right away. And we know,
they do that shit all the time.
We know what we sound like. And again, another point that they made out, which I agree with, is when we're having certain topics, within the Black community, those spaces need to be within our community. All these outside opinions, and influence, etc. This is not for you. And we should be able to come into a space amongst each other with y'all nosying around all the time. Again, you posted this a long time ago. I don't remember when or where, but you said that we need to be more exclusive versus inclusive. And that has stuck with me so much. And it means like it really is a real thing. We need to be more exclusive versus inclusive in these spaces where we need to, clean up our house, right? Check one another, encourage one another, right? But we need to do that amongst ourselves, and we do not need these outside, groups always checking on what we do. I don't like that. Why do they do that?
They're the nosiest people on earth, man. That's it. They're the nosiest people on earth. And that's exactly right, because that's what power looks like. Power is exclusive. It's not about, who you could get along with, you know what I'm saying, and who you could kumbaya with. It's about being able to exclude people that you don't want to have amongst us. You know what I'm saying? That's what power is about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the white supremacists showed you that with Jim Crow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They made everything exclusionary. You know what I'm saying? Blacks on this side of town. Blacks can't go in this bathroom. Blacks can't drink out of this water fountain. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's power.
That's power.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Dominance.
Jack said they have no culture. They create no genres
of music, really inventions, etc. Absolutely. Yeah. Here we are. We're labeled dumb, uneducated, all these things, when basically when our ancestors was placed out there on those fields, they had to figure things out, right? Cultivating, the food, raising the animals, cooking, building, all those things. These were people that had no education, right? And even after slavery, right? We still had to do it. I believe when my grandmother, if I'm not mistaken, my maternal grandmother, when she first came here to California from Texarkana, I want to say that my grandmother only had a 5th grade education. You understand what I'm saying? But did that stop her? No. Right?
But brilliant though.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. So I believe the same thing with my grandfather. And I just went on Ancestry as well and found some documents that my grandfather was in World War II. You know what I'm saying? This was an uneducated man who at the time in Texarkana. I forget the name of the paper that my mom said that he worked for. And at that time, he was making $100 a week, which is a whole lot of money in that time. It would be equivalent, to a few, maybe $1,000 a week now. You know what I'm saying? Coming from no education, a husband with 9 kids.
And black.
And black.
During Jim Crow.
Doing Jim Crow. Exactly. You know and the same thing, 4th, 5th grade education, but was providing for his family.
I mean, the greatest example of that is the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right?
Right.
The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad only went to the 3rd grade.
See?
You know what I'm saying? The Nation of Islam is still the strongest and longest standing black organization in the Western Hemisphere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and producing real strong masculine men and great, strong, beautiful, feminine women within the organization. I've come in contact with many, and still communicate with many. And I think that they, what I love is how one organized and how disciplined. That's the main thing that I always say. The discipline I love, the organization I love, the fact that Louis Farrakhan makes sure that they're learning something to do for themselves, right? Because again, nobody is coming to do it for us. We have learned this throughout history for 400 years. They have not come to rescue us yet. And he makes sure, what are you good at? Well, if you ain't good at nothing, we're gonna find something that you're good at, and we're gonna make that into something. And that's all I've seen within that organization. So I have nothing negative to say about it. When I see other people say little or take little jabs, although I'm not in it, I literally get offended. Like I get in protection mode. I get in protection mode.
It's a lot of people, even certain people in my family that think, I'm Muslim. I'm in the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I was raised in the Nation of Gods and Herbs, which is an offshoot of the Nation of Islam. We studied the same lessons and all of that. So I can understand why some people might think that. But yeah, I defend them like I'm, like I got a bow tie on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a great example. It's a shining example of what we could be as a people. You know what I'm saying? I always said that if the amount of people, and this is no shot at Dr. King, you know what I'm saying? But if the amount of black people that were following Dr. King got on Elijah Muhammad's program, we'd be free by now.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? If those numbers were just flipped, we'd be free right now. We wouldn't even be having this discussion. You know what I'm saying?
They were secretly meeting, right? So unfortunately, he was taken out before we can even see that in fruition. So they get this information. That's why I think again, having those private spaces, because the left hand don't always need to know what the right hand is doing, and vice versa. Someone, I believe, spilled the beans, and that's why he's no longer here, because he was always the safe Negro. Yeah, he was arrested and had dogs sick on him and stuff like that, but he was still a safe Negro because he was always talking peace.
That's a fact. And speaking of the Nation of Islam, I know it recently came out that they exonerated the 2 brothers that were convicted of assassination of Malcolm X, 2 out of the 3 who were innocent this whole time, and even the one who was guilty even said that the other 2 ain't have nothing to do with nothing. We've known this for a long time, but those 2 were recently exonerated on all charges, and they like to do shit 50 years after the fact, 100 years after the fact. One of them I believe is still living, the other one is dead. But they still not talking about who's actually responsible, right? They still not trying to point to the real culprits and the real ones who really orchestrated this.
No confession
at all.
No confession
at all. And they even still frame it like one of the stories when you read it. They still frame it to say that Malcolm X was murdered by the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? And you even get, so you get a lot of black folks that believe that and still say that to this day, right? And the thing that I don't understand about that is kind of like, Fred Hampton. No, not Fred Hampton. Yeah, like Fred Hampton story. You know how he got infiltrated by what was the dude's name?
I can't remember because and it's at the tip of my tongue. But was it Bobby Hampton? What's his name, Bobby?
I can't even think of
his name, but we know who you talking about.
The snitch dude's name. You know what I'm saying? But he infiltrated the Black Panthers. He became a high-ranking member in the Black Panthers and was very close around Fred Hampton and his organization and all of that. And he set him up to get assassinated. But his assassination never gets blamed on the Black Panther Party. No. You know what I'm saying? Because it's known that these were federal agents, you know what I'm saying, working on behalf of the U.S. government. And that's the same thing with the Malcolm X assassination. These people weren't really a part of the Nation of Islam. These were federal agents that infiltrated the nation. He had agents all around him. And he knew that, and Elijah Muhammad knew that. You know what I'm saying? They knew that there was agents amongst them. They might not have known exactly who was who. Right. But, you know, they were infiltrated by the U.S. government. You know what I'm saying? The same way that they do with world leaders all around the world. You know, so from the CIA to the FBI.
Why do Black people act like they forgot all of this? And so when things like this happen, we're quick to jump onto whatever propaganda, you know, narrative that white media puts out there and still blame each other. We already know the measures in which they would take, rather, and not to excuse any Black person, you know what I'm saying, for getting paid whatever crumbs that they're getting, you know, to become a CIA operative or, you know, agent, whatever the case. That's not excusing them, but also we understand the measures in which they would take to use someone that looks like us to destroy us. Indeed. Right? So why do we even be like, yep, it was them? Like at the end of the day, even when Black people do something wrong, such as that man that helped set him up, I still have to point at white supremacy.
Absolutely.
It still goes back to white supremacy. It still goes back to J. Edgar Hoover.
Exactly.
It still points there.
Exactly. They're the ones orchestrating it. You know what I'm saying? You ever see an orchestra? You know what I'm saying? There's somebody conducting the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's the white supremacists, the hidden hand behind all of this stuff. And we see this take place time after time. You know what I'm saying? Even now, which kind of segues into one of the topics with the sister Jacqueline Avant, who was recently murdered in her own home. You know, apparently by some random gang banging Negro, right? Very conveniently, just you know, gets into one of the most exclusive areas in Beverly Hills.
Can I say something? So I'm not far from California, LA County, basically. Beverly Hills is in LA, y'all. It's just a city within LA. So for me, driving to Beverly Hills, you know, 25, 30 minutes. Like it's just little cities all in LA, right? In order to park on a residential street in Beverly Hills, you have to have a permit. I don't care where you go, unless you're at a grocery store parking lot, you know, shopping center. That's the only place you can literally park on the street. You have to be a resident of Beverly Hills and have a permit literally to park on a public street. Wow. So this dude pulls up, you know, you got police everywhere or neighborhood watch, whatever the case, people with cameras and stuff like that. Like, and then the Avants have security. So this car, y'all didn't notice?
Armed security.
Armed security. This dude walks up with an AR-15. Where was y'all at? Sleep? How? Make it make sense.
Yeah, you know. Again, I just want to say, you know, RIP to that sister and condolences to the family and all of that. But again, it just smells very fishy. You know what I'm saying? It really makes you ask a lot of questions and wonder what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? The dude, I guess he supposedly broke into another home after that and accidentally shot himself
with an AR-15 at close range. Make it make sense. And your foot wasn't blown off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The pictures that they shown, the glass was broken from inside of the house. So just a lot of weird stuff, a lot of weird inconsistencies. And for those that don't know, what's his name? Clarence Avant?
Yeah.
Clarence Avant, long time music mogul, I guess you would say. You know what I'm saying? Just a real shot caller. They call him the Godfather. They have a documentary about him on Netflix. I never knew about him until I saw that documentary. And I'm heavy into music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of stuff that go with people that's behind the scenes, that's instrumental in people's careers and stuff like that. But I had never heard of him until the Netflix documentary came out. You know what I'm saying? But he's very well connected with a lot of big players in this world, not just in music, but in politics. Like, he heavy in the Democratic Party, and even going all the way back to certain mob ties that he had. You know what I'm saying? I believe it was Capone that kind of got him in the music industry to begin with. And you know, I know Capone, you know, he that faction of the mafia had a lot to do with the music industry at that time. I was listening to an interview on Dewan B's broadcast not too long ago where he was interviewing Bobby Rush, blues legend Bobby Rush, and he was just telling stories about stuff that was going on back then in the industry with him and Ike Turner and, you know, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf. And, you know, he was talking about how when he went to Chicago, he kind of got involved with Capone and the mafia and all that indirectly. You know what I'm saying? To the point where he didn't really know, you know, who was pulling the strings, but everybody else knew it. So every room that he walked into, he got respect because people was like, oh, that's Capone's guy. That's Capone's man. You know what I'm saying? Even though he never met Capone personally, he wasn't working directly for Capone or anything like that. But the people around knew, you know what I'm saying, who was really pulling the strings. And so he was getting the red carpet rolled out for him just based on that. You know what I'm saying?
That name.
And so, also,
isn't the Avant's daughter married to like the CEO or head of Netflix or something like that? So it's
Yep. She's married to the CEO of Netflix. Interesting ties there. She was the ambassador during the Obama administration. She was the ambassador to the Bahamas. You know, she only has, I think, an associate's degree. You know, she's not like highly educated. And even the dude that the CEO of Netflix doesn't even have, he went to like a community college or something. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I'm just saying, like, you know, white folks use nepotism all the time. So if she got moved up due to nepotism, hey, so be it.
Right.
So be it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really got nothing bad to say about the family. I don't know anything bad to say about the family. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying with this whole incident, because we were talking about how they use black people, you know what I'm saying, to pull off certain things and get rid of certain people. It just seemed kind of funny, man. You know, it just seemed kind of funny.
My cousin said in the chat, she you know, in the A with you, but from here, and black people cannot roll through Beverly Hills like that today. Let's be very, very clear. You getting pulled over. What you doing out here? You know, where you going? You know, with a smile on their face. And this dude had tats all on the face, you know, from the mug shot. Like, I'm wondering what he was driving, right? Because you just can't roll up in there like that. I'm telling you what I know. I will get pulled over. How you doing? Yeah, where you going? You know, and honestly, I didn't know until about the permit parking till about maybe 10 years ago. I parked on a residential street to go over to the Nike store. You know, it was like no parking. And I parked on the residential street, not paying attention to the sign. I had a big old ticket on my car when I came out. I'm like, what I do? And sign clear as day, no parking. I mean, only permitted parking. And from then on, I started to pay attention anytime I would go to Beverly Hills where I'm parking, and it's signs all through there. You look at other people's cars on the street, they have a permit in the window. You cannot just be in these residential streets like that and park without somebody pulling up. And again, you're talking about an exclusive neighborhood with security. Most of the security, I'm sure, is off-duty LAPD. You mean you weren't checking for that car?
Mm-hmm.
And he got to the door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And what did he get? What did he take? You know what I'm saying? Well, we didn't hear anything about that.
And why did he have to pull the gun? My thing is, he could have, y'all all go into the back, get in the closet, where are the valuables? I don't know if he had a ski mask on. It just, all of it was just funky to me.
And only her, only her.
So he got into the other people's house, shot himself in the foot, and that's just how we just gonna leave it like that. He accidentally got caught.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Very strange.
Very strange, very sad, and condolences, love, prayers sent out to that family, because I know that this is definitely, a hard time. 80-something years old, taken out in that way in your home, where you're supposed to be as comfortable as you can be and safe as you can be, and then it's so public. They can't even grieve in peace. So prayers and condolences out to them.
Indeed. And so, what else is going on out here? You're talking about not the trial,
the DA in Ahmaud Arbery's case, officially arrested and charged, but I've been seeing little posts circulating talking about she only looking at 5 years, and I feel some kind of way about that. That's a slap on the wrist, for someone like her, in the position that she was in, and to hide that and all the backhanded stuff that she was doing, right? And you knew with these disgusting, I want to cuss, but I'm not, did. And 5 years is the best that y'all can do. I mean, we know Black people that got 10, 20 and did less.
Couple bags of weed.
Right. I'm just saying, like, I'm offended.
Indeed. And a lot more people in that town should be being charged as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the people that was passing that tape around, the sister who took the picture and posted the picture of the dead body online and all of that stuff.
She was on Snapchat. And bragging, like, wasn't she saying the N-word and stuff too? Like, she was celebrating his death or something like that on her Snapchat.
Well, she tried to say, I know she tried to say she's just into crime scene investigations, and she liked to watch, crime scene stories and stuff like that. And it was her dream to be, it's like a crime scene investigator. That's what I remember her trying to say, to justify it. But it's whatever. At the end of the day, you were a part of this crime. You were a part of this lynching. You know what I'm saying?
Cover-up too.
And the police who never rendered aid to Ahmaud on the scene also. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to handle them the same way that they handle us.
Absolutely.
These calls and these injunctions.
And honestly, her position, right? Because of the position that you are in to uphold the law, etc. So I feel like she should be held at a higher standard as well. Why? She should be facing the same time that those 3 idiots are facing.
That's a fact. Am I still here?
Yeah, you are now. It did break a little bit, but you're fine now.
All right, I'm resetting my thing just in case it does act up a little bit.
Like you once said, that's the same thing they used to do when they would have those lynching postcards.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. You're celebrating, a lynching. You're salivating over it. You're orgasming over it. It's disgusting. You're a disgusting human being.
Indeed. Hit the like button, everybody. Hit the thumbs up. Share this out. If you're watching this on Facebook, same thing. Hit the like button. Share this on your page and all of that. Appreciate y'all watching the Godcast as always. So that's what I was about to get at, was that Scooter the Shooter story. The white dude that shot up the school down there, and it was somewhere in Michigan, right?
Minnesota. Yeah, Michigan.
Michigan somewhere. I forgot the name of the town, but somewhere in Michigan. They're calling it the Rittenhouse effect. White people losing their damn mind after they done got the green light that it's okay we're gonna allow you to go out and murder with impunity.
Mm-hmm.
And so this kid who got a gun from his parents went and shot up the school. And you know, people been talking about it already. We don't got to get deep into the story, but I think he killed 4 people and like 7 got injured.
Mm-hmm. They killed 4.
And now the parents are being charged as well. Which this is the first time I ever saw that happen. Because usually with these school shooters, they usually get the weapons from their parents or somebody in their family, right? But the parents usually never get charged. Right. But I think right after, I forgot who it was it Jason Black or somebody was talking about that, saying, why aren't the parents getting charged?
Right.
And then right after that, I saw the district attorney was filing charges against the parents. And then they went on the run and they was missing for a little while.
Right.
And, you know, the whole community was looking for them. They was looking for this certain vehicle, whatever the case may be. And they got caught at some, it was a business.
Industrial business, and sounds like someone was aiding in their, you know, run, basically.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. They had help. They were being aided and abetted while they were on the run out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they don't want to be responsible for their crimes. You know, white people are so used to getting away with everything. It's like, what y'all talking about?
Right.
You ain't about to charge me. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
funny that I think the only reason why they're actually being charged at this point is because proof started coming out. Once they got him the gun, right? He started Googling in class, searching for ammo, right? And so a teacher reported it. They made several calls to the parents to talk to them about, you know, what's going on in the home. You know, we have, you know, little Kyle the second, you know, over here Googling ammo, you know, what's going on. He's posting stuff on his social media, you know, posing with the gun that he actually used. And they ignore all of the call attempts from the staff at the school. Then mom sends him something saying basically, you know, just don't get caught.
Yeah, they were texting each other.
Yeah. So I think it's only because of that they're actually being charged, you know, and then you also have, I believe, other parents of the school. There was other little incidences with this kid prior to this happening, right? And I don't think that the school itself went far enough as to getting in contact with the parents, even getting the police involved. Why didn't they ever show up to the home? If they were not answering calls or emails, you know what I'm saying, and you're talking about guns and stuff like that, and we know that this country has a history with students shooting up schools, then send the law to knock on the door. Why didn't that happen?
Because they white. That's why.
Right. Right.
Jackson, when was this? Jackson, was this something recently with Luke Woodham shot up a school in Pearl, Mississippi? I like that terminology too. It's the recessive effect.
Right.
It's the recessive effect. But was that something that happened recently, Jackson? I didn't hear about that one.
Me neither.
But yeah, let us know.
But you know, it's just crazy. It's just, and even for them to have the opportunity to be on the run. I don't understand why they have bail. They've already proved that they will run, right? So
was they bail like 5,000?
500,000 each.
Oh, it's 500,000. Okay.
500,000.
I thought it was 5,000. Okay.
No, it was 500,000 each, but 10% of that still ain't nothing.
Yeah, facts.
And you know, if they own a home, they may be able to put their house up to get out.
So did they get out, or are they still?
No, they're still in. So allegedly, they don't have the money to bail out.
Okay, good.
And now this man also, I saw a story. He actually has an older son from a previous marriage. That son actually just went and stayed with him and the crazy woman. She said last summer or so, he stayed out there for about 4 months and decided to come back home because the wife, I guess, is the one that pulls all the strings, perhaps, but they were kind of off in the head, per the ex-wife. All of them.
Okay, so that was back in the days, Jackson. So was that your school? You went to that school? I think that's what he's saying. Back in 97. Yeah, that's probably.
He said that was the first school shooting back in the day in 97.
Yeah, man.
But white privilege is a hell of a drug, I say. White privilege is a hell of a drug. The media, is very complacent in how they report these stories. And, they done found a picture of him when he's 7 or 8 with the praying hands and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
They will not demonize these demons as long as they have white skin.
And that's the thing, man. They paint black people as if we so violent. And black people just don't do shit like this. And they kept trying to bring up that kid down in Texas who shot his bullies. It so happened at school. It just so happened to happen at school. And, of course, that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? But it's a totally different situation. He wasn't just going randomly shooting people. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a terrorist act. You know what I mean? He had a visceral reaction to, being bullied.
And one of the bullies had no business on campus, was showing up on campus on a daily basis. One of the bullies was, 19 years old, showing up to the school. And one thing about us is we're not going to shoot random people. When he did attempt to shoot and maybe someone got caught in the crossfire, he went for who was bullying him. He was not there, to attack innocent people. Let's be clear. And again, this was a desperate situation. He was fearful. Don't know if he told his parents or not what was going on, but he's going to school every single day and being bullied by an older kid that doesn't even go to the school. Different situation.
Totally different situation. You cannot compare that to these terrorist acts that these little cows be doing out here.
Well, one thing about white supremacy, they still want to frame it.
Yeah, that's the code.
They can see how Kyle was trying to defend himself, right? Even though he placed himself somewhere that he didn't have to be. This kid, black kid, is going to school and trying to get educated. And you have someone that does not belong there showing up to bully me, harass me, fight me, punk me, whatever. Totally. But y'all can't see the fact that he was trying to protect himself, that he was in fear of his life.
And you can't look at his anything in his life, look at his phone or his internet activity or anything like that shows like a pattern or something that was leading up to, like he was plotting this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that with this kid. And they was upset when he made bail and they threw a little party for him and all that. Let him be mad.
Right.
Let him be mad. He deserves a fair trial. He innocent until proven guilty.
And thank God that his family had some money to put up for him to be bailed, because unfortunately, most of us sit in jail because we can't afford bail.
Indeed. Even when you're wrongfully accused of some shit, you forced into a plea bargain because you can't afford legal representation.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, unfortunately, what happened, but he deserved a fair trial.
Period.
Yeah. So, what you eating over there?
Look, I found some grapevines. So they're grape flavored red vines.
I'm like, she tearing something up over there.
Man.
Hit the like button, share button, subscribe to the channel, all of that good stuff. Y'all rocking with the Godcast.
Right.
So one of the other trials that's taking place is the Ghislaine Maxwell. Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, co-defendant, pedophile.
Pedophile, right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at the reports about the trial, and a lot of stuff is very vague. They're not really going into a lot of detail. I see they keep talking about this massage chair and a sex toy that they found in Epstein's house. And I'm like, okay, it got to be more to it than this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These people was running an international pedophile ring. You know what I'm saying? These people had a whole island. And, they briefly mentioned, some of the people that were on Epstein's plane, who were getting flew out on the plane. They briefly mentioned that, and then they say, but none of them are suspected of any crimes or anything like that. Right. You know what I'm saying? and they just keep focusing on this massage chair and this sex toy. They said they had the massage chair sitting in the middle of the courtroom for most of the day throughout the court. You know, the way they're covering the story is you know, they trying to sweep this thing under the rug. They're trying to keep it as quiet as possible. And I was wondering why it's not being televised. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We just saw the Rittenhouse trial on TV. We saw the case with the terrorist that murdered our brother Ahmaud Arbery's trial just take place on television. And so I was looking into that. You know what I'm saying? And what I found, they said that federal courts, this is a federal case, and federal courts have different rules when it comes to allowing the press inside the courtroom or televising the trials or whatever. And I'm not really sure about that. You know what I'm saying? But even if that is the case, it's like they must be selecting certain reporters that they're allowing to come in to even cover the story, because they're not talking about nothing. They're not giving us no real details about what's taking place in this trial, what type of evidence is out there against them or anything like that. Like, the most y'all got is a massage chair and a dildo. That means she's about to walk. Right.
And I also found it interesting that when it did start getting kind of reported on social media, because not in the news media, but when I started to see a bit of it on social media, there was this, like, I guess, government document. It says the plaintiff statement in the on the case, right? And it has all these names, Harvey Weinstein, but then I'm talking about defendants that she allegedly named on the case. You got Harvey Weinstein, Sean Carter, we know who that is, right? Virgil, who just passed away. I'm just, randomly picking some names here. Walt Disney Company defendant, Def Jam Recordings, Rock Nation, you know what I'm saying? Like, Young Money Entertainment. I'm like, y'all purposely put this document out, right? And I remember initially when this thing first started to come out, and they didn't have like a bunch of black girls. It was only white girls pretty much saying that they were, assaulted or, trafficked by these people. And the thing was that they allegedly didn't want any black girls, which I find hard to believe, because you're in the, was his house mansion basically in the Bahamas, right? Somewhere in the Caribbean.
Well, so he has a few places. The island is somewhere in the Caribbean. And he has a house in New York. It's in New York, right? Yeah, I think his house in New York is where they had the picture of Bill Clinton wearing a dress.
Right, the dress.
I think that house is in New York. And they had raided that house. I believe when he first got arrested, that was the house that they raided. And they still talking about his death is a suicide, and anybody saying anything to the contrary is just a conspiracy theorist. You know what I mean? They even got one of the inmates to come out and say, "Oh, he killed it. He definitely killed himself." And the way that they described it, right? He's in the cell. Obviously the police officer that was on duty, the CO that was on duty, obviously went to sleep or something. He wasn't paying no attention, and he ripped up a sheet and hung himself with the sheet. Now, I've been in prison before, and you got to be a strong nigga to rip up one of them sheets,
right?
You know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing to cut it with or nothing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing. You got to be a strong nigga to rip up one of them damn sheets. You know what I'm saying?
He was in a suicide watch cell, so those cells you can't hang yourself because it's just one little cot in there. They don't have bunk beds or anything like that in there. So what did he allegedly hang himself with? You mean to tell me he just stood there? With it around his neck until he died? Like, just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense at all.
And nobody paying no attention to this man.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, so, some people were hitting me up saying, well, there's one person in particular was hitting me up saying, why isn't anybody talking about the small hat connection with this Epstein case?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm going to share some of what took place. I don't know if this person is here. inside the chat if you're watching. But I told you I was going to share some of the conversation that we was having in the DM if you are watching this, or you might be watching on the replay or whatever. But I just thought that, you know, the perspective was kind of all over the place. Mm-hmm. And I find that a lot of people get confused about what white supremacy is and how white supremacy works, especially when it comes to some of the activity and accurate and legitimate activity that comes directly from the small hats, right? I'm not saying that, you know, people who claim to be part of that religion aren't on the hook and don't commit some of these atrocities and, you know, haven't participated in our detriment. I'm not saying that they're not involved at all, but I'm just saying, well, let me just share some of what was said right in the DM. So when I posted the flyer for this week's show, she came in my DM and she said, why is nobody touching the connection with Israel? So I said, well, what's the connection? She said her father was Israel's secret army and he introduced her to Epstein. Her father changed his name at least 3 or 4 times, and plus he stole everything he had. Also, look up where he's buried. Epstein supposedly has secrets on everybody and videos where his body also controls the media and most of these platforms, just saying that's something to look at. Now, that was interesting to me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know anything about her father, you know what I'm saying, being some Israeli military guy. And, you know, she said he changed his name 3 or 4 times. Yeah, you can have it. What time is it? Yeah, you can have it. What's the time? It's almost 8 o'clock. Right. And so I said, okay, well, what's the connection? Right. And then she started saying that. And so I said, do you have receipts on any of this? She says, well, it's public knowledge. Check out the podcast. I'm not going to promote the podcast on here, but she told me to check out some podcasts. And she said there's a Netflix docuseries, and I think that's what Jackson is talking about too.
Okay.
Where is it? Jackson said something about it on here. Boom.
I think I looked at that one. That's on Netflix.
Yeah. There's a whole Netflix documentary about their criminal activity. Look the demon up. Easy. Okay, cool. So there's a lot of information out there about, you know, these people and all of the ties that they have and all of that. Cool. She said there has never been a small hat president, and I doubt there ever will be. And she sent me something from some page. It disappeared now. I can't see what it was that she sent me, but it was a satire page. So I said, well, you know, that page is satire, right? I don't know if what you're sending me is real or not. Like, I need some receipts. I'm not going to just get on my podcast. She's sending me this stuff saying you should talk about this on the podcast. And I'm like, well, I don't know about this. So maybe you can enlighten me, you know what I'm saying? And give me some receipts so I can have something to talk about. I'm not going to just be on here saying, oh, well, you know, where'd you get that from? Well, somebody told me that on my DM. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, okay, well, what you talking about? Send me some receipts. Tell me where I can look this stuff up at. You know, send me some sources. It sounds interesting, but what's this all about? Whatever. Let me scroll down a little bit. So she says, the Rothschild family is the richest family in the world. They are European Jews. It's just a way to usher in a Zionist society. All the leaders leading the shots track are all Jewish. Who owns the media? Jewish. It's not then look how China has brought so much of America now. Housing and food are astronomical. And you say, what does this have to do with Epstein? And again, I'm getting more confused because you know you're talking about all of these things, but I still don't see what this has to do with the Epstein case. I'm
just thinking white supremacy, whether it's Jewish or not.
That's what I'm saying.
Supremacy. You know, that's just me.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Okay, how is this different than old-fashioned white supremacy? And so that's what I said. That was my response. I said, but aren't those small hats white though?
Right.
And she said, are most of the Jews in Israel white? I keep saying the word. I'm trying to watch my language and shit.
Right. But
you know,
now they are.
You know, they mess with the algorithm when you say certain words on here. But hey, it is what it is. I can't keep dancing around it. So she says, also, She said, also, if you're Jewish, you're not white. There's specific diseases related to that culture. So again, people try to frame being Jewish as if it's its own race.
Right. It's not. It's a religion.
Right? It's a religion or a culture at best. Right? It's not a separate race. You got black people who are Jews. You got white people who are Jews. You got Hispanic people who are Jews. Right? You have Asian people who are Jews.
Tiffany Haddish is a Jew.
Right? Sammy Davis Jr. Right. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying. So
or the Hebrew Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Like, what y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I said. I said, I mean, there are black Jews, right? How come they are not the ones who own the media and the banks, etc.? She said they are black Palestinians, not Jews. Not true. You have black people who are Jews. Okay. Shout out to my sister Belle Lovely. She says small hats don't consider themselves white and vice versa. And whites, whites don't consider themselves Jews. That would be the adverse, right? But all white people are not Jews, right? But and same thing. All Jews are not white. But the ones that we're talking about, when you're talking about the ones who control the banks, the ones who control the media and all of that stuff, and this video might get taken down because we talking crazy. Right. But you know what I'm saying? The ones who pulling all of those strings, they're the ones that just so happen to be white. So I don't see what the difference is between them and a regular white person. You know what I'm saying? Why should we focus on the so-called religion or the culture? And that was the question that was the question at hand that I was trying to get at with this person. And so I asked her, what's the difference? And I don't think I got a straight answer, but let me see. Let me know if you can hear this. Hold on. Is it going to play? It's not playing. It's not playing. I wanted to play some of this for y'all.
Yeah, I can't hear that.
Yeah, it's not playing at all. Did you just play something?
Accidentally.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not playing. I wanted to play some of this because a lot of what she was saying, it just ties into a point that I want to make about people being confused about white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the stuff that she was pointing to, you know, historical things that took place, that actually did take place. It wasn't that she was saying things that were inaccurate, but she was attributing it all to the small hats. And I was just trying to get at the heart of the matter, like, okay, this sounds like regular white supremacy to me. What does their so-called religion have to do with anything? Why should I be just focused on their religion? And why are you telling me that it's not white supremacy? Why are you telling me that there is no white supremacy? Because that's basically what she was saying. There is no white supremacy, and this is how they fool us and keep us divided. And you know, I'm just looking for some straight answers. Like, what's the difference?
Well, you know, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, it ties back into what, you know, Neely Fuller Jr. said. If you don't understand white supremacy and racism, everything that you do understand will only confuse you.
Can't say that enough.
Can't say it enough.
Can't say that
enough. So that's just how I see it. When I see quote unquote small hat, I still see a Caucasian.
Yep.
You know, and you know, not to say that there aren't religious groups that have a certain amount of power, because look at the Catholic Church, right? That is a religious entity, and they have been quite powerful within that entity, and for hundreds of years been, you know, raping and sodomizing boys under the guise of, you know, the church. So
Indeed.
I don't think that it may be that far, you know, different, you know, with these people.
And so, you know, Minister Farrakhan speaks about that a lot. And, you know, he has a whole book series called The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, right?
I still haven't read that. And
he always talks about how they hide they hide basically their white supremacy behind religion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Deception.
So, indeed, deception. White supremacy is based on deception. Their true religion is white supremacy, but they'll hide behind the Catholic Church. They'll hide behind, you know what I'm saying, Judaism or Christianity, because the KKK was a Christian organization, right? One of the first ships that came over here was named Jesus, right?
Right, good ship Jesus. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm gonna pull up a clip from one of the conversations that Tariq was having in the Twitter space where they was talking about the same thing, right? And before I do that, let me just big up Tariq real quick, man, because he's been having these shout out to Tariq Nasheed, man. He's been having these Twitter spaces all week long. Good conversations been taking place in some of those rooms. There's been some trolling going on, and like I said, it's a little bit unorganized, but you know, we talk about Black business on this page a lot. You know what I'm saying? We do the Black Business Showcase, by the way, every Wednesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Make sure y'all tune in for that. Check out some of the previous episodes right here on this page. We be having some good conversations. A lot of business game is given away on this page. And so I was looking at some of the spaces that Tariq has been holding from that aspect, because this is a great marketing campaign for his book. Right. The book is called Foundational Black American Race Baiter. And it's his journey into understanding systematic white supremacy. Right. So even just the title of it alone is great marketing, because race baiter is supposed to be like a trope. Right. Race baiter is something that they say to try to get us from focusing on white supremacy.
Right.
Whenever we point out real issues that are taking place, they say, "Oh, usually this person is a race baiter." They use that to kind of try to dismiss you.
Race hustling.
Indeed. And so he flipped that on its head by embracing it and titling his book. Okay, so you want to say I'm a race baiter, and that it doesn't really have a real clear definition of what that is anyway.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to use that against you. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a socioeconomic form of judo.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know in judo they use your own strength against you. You know, same thing that he did with the buck breaking thing. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about it recently on how you know, with all of this big LGBT push going on in the media, everywhere you turn, you can't get away from it. And so by him putting out a movie called Buck Breaking, based on some of these things, it automatically got tapped into the algorithm, which made it become more successful than it would have normally been. Normally, it would have just been us and the grassroots who support most of the projects that he puts out anyway. You know, most of the stuff that comes out is successful. So normally it would have been just us that would have been supporting this film. But being that it got tapped into that algorithm because they're pushing it so hard, it made it even bigger.
Right.
So that's good business game that I want us all to pick up on. You know what I'm saying? Because success leaves clues, y'all. Right. So when you see somebody that's being successful, pay attention to how they got there. Pay attention to the methodology that they use to make their projects become successful. You know what I'm saying? Right. Success leaves clues. And so by him holding these Twitter spaces, even the titles that he puts on the Twitter spaces, it's almost like trolling, but it's not trolling. You know what I'm saying? Because he's having constructive conversations, but he knows that it's going to be triggering to certain people.
Exactly.
And that's marketing. That's great marketing.
And all the people that name call and troll him, you know, especially, you know, the white folks, they're the main ones that's going to buy the book. You know, because now they're curious. What is this Negro talking about? Now we want to be in his business, as they always are, right? So he just, you know, sold 100,000 more copies just by doing this because they know the asses.
Exactly. The book is already a bestseller. And so I was looking at it. Indeed. You know what I'm saying? And so even though I was enjoying some of the conversations in some of the rooms, I was really looking at the marketing aspect of it, the business aspect of it. And so I just wanted to highlight that real quick. But anyway, just to get back to what we were talking about, I'm going to play some of, because somebody was saying kind of the same thing that this person was saying in my DM. Somebody was saying that in this Twitter space, and I believe I got it queued up here. Let me see. Can you see it on the screen?
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, basically the Jews brought the slaves over here and they own the media and they're putting all of us against each other. And the last thing that they want is for us to unite and be honest about what is going on in the world. And until we actually speak that hard truth, nothing is going to get done.
Let's wait. So you say the Jews, which Jews did this? Because there's Jews over there in Israel complaining about racism, the black ones. So which Jews?
I would say the transnational ones back in the 1800s, the ones who were expelled from their different countries. You just look at the Rothschilds, for example. You look at the history of central banking. It is all run by them. Usury, all of it. The people who brought the slaves over. I had a relative through marriage at one point. He was a black man, and his last name was Cohen. You know, that was the name of his ancestors' masters. Yeah. You know, and Wells Fargo was a big slave trafficker, and there you will see a lot of African Americans with Jewish last names, and that's only because they took the name of their masters after the war.
But you do realize that only a small percentage of the slave owners were Jewish. Only a small percentage.
It's always a small percentage, though, isn't it?
Okay, but to say that it was the Jews who really ran the slave trade, that would be historically inaccurate.
I would say they're always the minority pulling the strings. You only need one hand on a marionette.
But the thing is, if they were controlling the reins of power, how come Jewish people were then attacked in Nazi Germany by the white supremacists if the Jews were really running them?
Well, what happened to Nazi Germany after they did that? That Germany has never been the same. And if I recall correctly, Hitler was the only one who shook Jesse Owens' hand. You know, there's a lot of lies told, and if history reads like a movie, it was probably written like one.
All right, so wait, let's back it up. Are you trying to say that Hitler was not racist against Jesse Owens because he said?
I'm not gonna speak fully on him. I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna say if he was good or bad. I'm just gonna say if all of the institutions, because I remember growing up, they basically tell you that the only way Hitler came to power was because he gave really good speeches. And frankly, that's not enough for me. I don't know if I'm not saying he's good or bad, but it definitely can't be as black and white, no pun intended, as this guy.
You're trying to say Hitler wasn't good or bad? Really?
Right.
No, whoa. Yeah,
whoa.
Okay,
Hitler is bad.
I'm just
West Virginia, Hitler's bad.
Yeah. No, it's just listen. I'm not saying that killing people en masse is okay.
Mr. West Virginia.
But it's like they say he, like, I remember going to elementary school and they say he killed the Jews, and we say, oh, why did he kill the Jews? And they say because they were Jewish.
Mr. West Virginia.
Hold on, wait. Let him finish. Hold on, brother. Wait, brother. Let.
All right, my bad.
Okay, good.
And I'm not even gonna die on that hill of Nazi Germany just because it's too complex.
They start tripping up on their own bullshit,
Right.
because when we're pointing out white supremacy, they always try to make us look somewhere else. No, it's not white supremacy. Right. It's this thing or it's the other thing. And it's like, no, it's old-fashioned white supremacy.
Same thing. White, and it all has white skin.
You know what I'm saying?
You know,
and then let them talk, and their bullshit comes out. And then when you point it out and call them out on it, they try to backpedal. You know what I'm saying? Because he's sitting here talking about, I'm not going to say, Hitler was good or bad. Well, damn. You know what I'm saying? He said those Germans to America and give them careers.
Again, what he's taught us about, white supremacy being about deception, right? So if we have Black people focusing on this small group of, Jewish people, then we're taking our eyes and ears off white supremacy because we're focusing on the wrong thing, right? So I think that they've also been using those talking points as well to keep us confused. This is all about deception and keeping us confused, right? So we got to get off of this, what do they call that, rat or hamster trail of confusion. It still all points back to white supremacy. Neely Fuller said it. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing has been teaching this for years. It all points back to white supremacy. We've never heard them, pointing the fingers at a religious group when it comes to white supremacy. No. So the teachings have been there, but stop getting confused. Confused, as I call some folks.
Exactly. They want us to major in the minors. They want us to focus on the micro instead of the macro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because then we will never come up with solutions, with appropriate solutions. And that's exactly right, Jackson Harlem. That's exactly right, because the Nazis they got their shit from America in the first place. Right. You know what I'm saying? They learned how to marginalize and demonize people by studying America in the first place. And then after, America came in last minute, you know what I'm saying? I'm not no World War II buff, but the little bit that I do know, you know what I'm saying? America came in the last minute, you know what I'm saying? And, took credit for the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? And then they allowed a lot of those same Nazi soldiers come over here and work in NASA and work in different industries where, you know what I'm saying, they were able to thrive, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them came over here and, built wealth, and that wealth is still passed down and handed down, you know what I'm saying?
Well, remember, a lot of them were told to, if you can get here, we got land for you. So they made their way over here for this free land and this come up, that the government was giving away, but they like to call us the welfare kings and queens. But white supremacy has been a welfare system.
The biggest welfare system on the planet.
You've been getting just for being white.
The biggest welfare system on the planet. So
I believe yesterday the thing he had yesterday, someone brought welfare up, and tried to make it seem like, well, Black people are already getting welfare. His group yesterday was about reparations, and should we give reparations, how, etc. And some suspected white supremacists started talking about welfare, and he had to remind him, well, hold on, the person that are on welfare the most is white people, and we have a whole town in Kentucky that's 98% white, and everybody out there is on welfare. So what do you mean Black people on the welfare system? You need to start looking in your own community, bro.
Facts. Yeah, he be picking them white supremacists apart in there, man. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, for the most part, he just let them talk and then ask certain questions. You know what I'm saying? Whenever they try to make a bogus point, he just poke a hole in it just by asking certain questions. You know what I'm saying? Because understand their main thing is to waste time. They know a lot of what they're saying is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So their main thing is to waste time and to get you talking in circles, you know what I'm saying, about things that are inconsequential. You know what I'm saying? And so the name of the game is to just stay focused, you know what I'm saying, and not allow them to drift you off on their little tangents and all of that stuff, and just ask important questions, like Neely Fuller always says. You know what I'm saying? Just ask the right questions.
Interesting too, though, yesterday about the reparations claim. When it comes to Black Americans, there's always this pushback and protest against it. But no one has said anything about the I think he was a plumber or an electrician, the Italian dude that was on there. And he said, why should he be on the hook, meaning with his tax dollars, for reparations? Well, you're on the hook for this $6 billion set aside for the Afghans that's coming over here. You're on the hook for the $50 million for the Asian hate crime bill. You're on the hook for all of these, set aside resources for all these other groups. But when it comes to Black Americans, all of a sudden, why should I be on the hook for this? I didn't have anything to do with it. I didn't have anything to do with these Asians. I haven't hate on an Asian.
Thank you for that. That was one thing that I was wanting him to say that he didn't actually say as a response. But that was the main point that I was like, okay, why you don't got all these other people, you know what I'm saying, are getting money out of your tax dollars. How come you don't have an issue with that?
You don't have no issue. It doesn't even get brought up in these public, forums. But as soon as we talk about Black people getting, our justice claim, all of a sudden it's so much protest. And then they have this whole thing about how we spend our money. I don't like that either. Don't worry about how I spend my money. Don't. And if you have Black people that screw their money up, guess what? That's them. If they go broke, guess what? That's them. What that got to do with me and what I'm trying to build? That's their business. You don't go over to other communities and tell them how they should spend their money.
And not only that, they also know that narrative is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to my brother TD Hip Hop. I don't know the name of the broadcast. I wish I knew the title of his broadcast. But he breaks it down with receipts, graphics, and all of that stuff on how not giving reparations to Black Americans is more detrimental to the country than it would be if they actually gave reparations to Black Americans. And not only that, but the whole lie about all we're going to do is buy Jordans and Cadillacs and we're going to get the money right back. They know that that's not true either, because that even proved itself during the pandemic when they started giving out all them stimulus checks. The majority of the new businesses that were started up were by Black people.
Right.
Black people was taking that money and flipping it.
Right. Mind you, Black people got the least amount of the stimulus money. When you're talking about those PPP loans, right? I think only 35% of Black people were even getting them, but flipped it.
And they know and understand that we know how to make something out of nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We the most resource deprived people in the country, and we still been thriving this whole time.
With a foot on our neck.
They know we know how to make something out of nothing. So that's why that's the main reason for the resource deprivation. That's the reason why they want to make sure that we don't get anything exclusively.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the playing field might get even too quickly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That wealth gap might get closed up a little bit too quickly. You know what I'm saying? If they give out some resources and some opportunities, they know we know how to make something happen.
Even the politician guy that was on there, that Jamaican dude, I think he's some type of councilman or something like that in the Orange County area here in California. And he started talking about, basically, why does it have to be monetary compensation? What about just, putting set asides towards business loans? Why do I have to have a business loan? First of all, you want reparations to be in the form of a loan? You know what I'm saying? Like Tariq said, no, because that happens right now, right? And then you have all these other groups that benefit off of it, and Black people do not. They'll figure out one way or the other that we cannot. As case in point, the dude with the popcorn business, right? He started popping. Someone highlighted him on a show. He really started popping, and all of a sudden now they done came in and shut him down from selling popcorn, y'all. Brother can't sell popcorn without the dominant society coming in and saying, well, hold on, we got to shut you down because you making some money. You might help your community. You might better yourself and your family.
Because you're getting your own money. It's okay if we give you some money, if we select you and we elevate you and give you some wealth, because we already understand that you know the rules.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know the rules. But if you start making shit happen on your own, then you kind of out of their control. You out of their jurisdiction. They don't know what you're going to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's when they go on high alert. And so I got in on one of these spaces. You know what I'm saying, real quick, and I'm gonna play my little 2 cents that I added in. Exactly, and that's the only reason why. That's the only reason why I want to play it too. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to try to inspire others who have ideas and who are already doing certain things offline, but they don't really want to come online with it. They don't really want to get in front of the camera and speak because they're just so nervous and they just don't know how to overcome some of that nervousness. And I'm just here to tell you, because I know some people say, I guess we make it look easy. When we come on here, we just seem natural, just being ourselves or whatever the case may be. But we all get nervous, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I was in one of the rooms And I was just chilling, listening to the conversation, and I wanted to add to the conversation because, you know, I'm getting into it. So I sent a request, and I was cooling all the way until Tariq said my name. You know what I'm saying? I was fine. I was just chilling all the way until Tariq said my name. And if you listen closely, you can hear the nervousness in my voice. And that's the reason why I kind of kept it real short and sweet too. And so it's not about not being nervous, because we all get nervous, but we got to find a way to push through, y'all. We got to find a way to push through, because the more you do it, the more that nervousness is going to begin to subside, and you're going to get more comfortable with just being yourself and realize it ain't really that bad at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm not the best speaker, you know what I'm saying, the most articulate person in the world, but I'm me. Right. And there are people who gravitate to the sound of my voice, and can't nobody do me like I do me. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just pushing through, y'all. So I'm just playing this just to inspire some of y'all that's out there that's scared to get on the mic. You know what I'm saying?
Some of these other folks in, but we got to holler, brother SINGKE. Hit me up, brother. We'll chop it up.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, let me get some more folks up in here. And again, while I'm chopping it up, you guys can check out my book, Foundational Black American Race Baiter, at Amazon. Foundational Black American Race Baiter at Amazon.com. The new book is out. Real good game in the book. And let me see who else. I see some people raising their hands.
Tariq, can I just chime in quickly?
Who is that? Where we at? Okay, what's up? That's Sincere. What's up, Sid?
How you doing, brother, man? I just want to echo the brother's sentiments, man. You know, you the GOAT. You don't really need us to help you handle these white supremacists in here. Yeah. You laid it out. You know what I'm saying? It's a global system, and it's based on domination in all areas of activity. And so it's not just limited to the violence and them being able to murder us with impunity. You could talk about economics. You could talk about education. Any area that you want to talk about, sex, war, you know what I'm saying? It's already been laid out. So if the only definition of racism was what Dante was saying, if that's the only thing that we had to worry about, then we wouldn't have a problem.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't have a problem, because that means that everything else is fair, and there's some white folks out there that hate us. That wouldn't be a problem for us, because without a system in place, there's no way for y'all to dominate.
That's correct. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got, brother. Thank you for letting me in. I appreciate it,
brother. All right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's facts right there. You know what I'm saying? So give your boy a digital round of applause up in his mouth. Right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Spitting straight bars up in his mouth.
Man.
It's on. Oh yeah, thank you. It's on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
It's on the bottom.
I saw them talking about it in the chat.
Okay, thank you for the reminder, though. Definitely thank you for the reminder on that one. So yeah, man, you know, indeed, if you make sure you following us on all social media platforms. I'm at Sincere Love to God, and my co-host is at nyctegur with the number 1 on Instagram, and without the 1 on all other platforms. I do got the wrong one scrolling on the bottom, don't I? Mm-hmm. Okay, let me put the other banner up. There we go. And so if you appreciate the Godcast and you find value in our content, please show your support via Cashapp. $ Sincere Love with the number 7, $ nyctegur without the L or the number 1. You know what I'm saying? Definitely need y'all to show us your support on that end of the spectrum as well. But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I just want to share that, because you can hear how nervous I was when I was speaking. And so I just want to inspire people, you know, don't be afraid. You got something to offer. You got something that's valuable that we all need, that you could bring to the table that nobody else can bring to the table. So you hiding in the shadows is doing the rest of us a disservice. You know what I'm saying? And so with that being said, you know, ain't too many people hanging out with us tonight. But those of y'all that are here live with us on the broadcast, I'm going to invite some of y'all into the room.
All right.
And so don't be scared. Don't be scared. If you're not scared and you want to add to the conversation tonight, I just put the link inside the chat. Click the link. You know, yeah. You know, put your bonnet on, you know, get your makeup together, do whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying? and click the link and hop on here and come chop it up with us, man.
Come on, family.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all got a lot of stuff to say in the chat. Come on screen and add on. You know.
Come on, cousin. I see you.
Yeah. Say, oh, you did fine, Sincere. You did fine. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I did my best. All right, so there was what was the other part that I wanted to bring up over here? Oh, yeah, this was interesting. So yeah, we about to switch topics too. This was an interesting part. Let me get the time stamp queued up over here. Another part of the conversation, there was a sister that came on 42. There was a sister that came on there, and the topic was, can Black people be racist? No. And most of the white supremacists was coming on there trying to explain how Black people can be racist. And, you know, their little bogus arguments wasn't really holding up well. No. But one sister had got on there, and she was of the opinion that Black people can be racist. And her perspective kind of, you know, it was a cause for some conversation. I seen a lot of people reacted to that. You know what I'm saying? Tyreek even mentioned in the room, a lot of hands went up after she got done speaking. You know what I'm saying? I think she had an interesting perspective. Some people said, you know, she was cooning and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to play what she said, and then we can react to it. And again, I put the link in the chat if anybody wants to hop on screen to join the conversation. And this is kind of light. It ain't going to be too heavy. It ain't going to be too heavy. But let me get this together. I think this is the part right here where she started speaking. Let me see.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt. We'll chime in on something like that. Let me get some more people in. Thank you so much, bro. Let me get some more people in here. If you want to get on, raise your hand. What's up, Lex? I see Lex up here. Beautiful weave. Let me get Lex on here. She has a beautiful weave. Yeah, let me get her on here. Her weave is gorgeous. Lex the God, get on here. Let's get Lex the God on here.
Hello. Oh my goodness. So
hey,
happy
Lex.
to be here. Hey,
how
you doing?
I'm good.
I'm good, love. I want to say thank you for all your work and your passion and everything that you dedicate and put into just the liberation of Black people globally. Yes. But what I will say is, look, we are very powerful people, and we are gaining power in this country. It's inevitable, and I would like to differ.
By the way, you can hear how nervous she is too, right? It happens to all of us, man.
Differentiate. I basically think, yes, Black people can be racist against white people. It's not a systematic thing, but I think we'll get into trouble if we continue to claim powerlessness, because the truth of the matter is we're building enterprise. We're building companies. A lot of my friends are hurt. I have Black friends in like the 1% of this country. And I know Black people that refuse to hire white people. I know them personally. But that in itself, to me, Tariq, don't you think that is a form of, you know what I'm saying? Like, what would you call that? If that's not racist, what is that?
Now, I think that was a good question. My opinion, I think that was a pretty good question. I don't agree, right? But I think she presented an argument or a perspective that was far more interesting than anything the white supremacists had to say, because they know that it's bullshit at the end of the day. They understand what white supremacy and racism really is. So their explanations, they know it's not really based on any type of logic. So they're not even coming up with good arguments. But to me, this is a person who is using some form of logic to say, well, if a Black person has a business and they don't hire white people, isn't that a form of racism? I thought that was a pretty good question.
And I would say that maybe they're not hiring them because they're white. Maybe they're not hiring them because they feel like Black people just need the opportunities more. I don't feel like that's racism in a sense. That's just, I'm going to take care of my community, because that's a part of,
Black first,
right? And
just being
the
Black
only
first.
way we're going to circulate our dollars, one, is by building our own enterprises, by supporting Black people, Black businesses, as well as hiring Black people.
Exactly. Exactly. That's part of what we say when we talk about the B1 philosophy, right? It's about putting your blackness above anything else that you might be, you know, whether it's your religion, whether it's your what do you call
Sexuality.
your sexuality, the sorority that you belong to, or fraternity that you belong to, or any of those things, your job, your occupation. You know, your blackness is first, and black people should be prioritized when it comes to resources, when it comes to opportunities, and all of the things that we've been deprived of, you know, especially here in America, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think, you know, even though her question or her perspective had logic to it, that would be my response to say, you know, I think that's just somebody that's practicing a B1 philosophy. You know what I'm saying? Just like it's not being racist if I say, you know, I'm gonna spend my money with my brother before I spend money with another.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not being racist, but that's the only way that we're gonna get power, by being exclusive.
Right. And then the thing is, you know, especially when it comes to if you work in the corporate realm, I'll even go in the medical field, right? When you go to the hospital, most of your, you know, doctors, even nurses, staff are non-black. Let's be, you know, out here, I would say in California, most of your nurses from high-end nurses, RNs, nurse practitioners, etc., are going to be white, Asian, and Asian, mostly Filipino here, right? In California, it's going to be Filipino. I cannot believe that they are the only ones going to school or applying for these jobs. I just find that hard to believe. You know what I'm saying? That they're the only nurses that you can hire. A lot of them come here and claim that they got their nursing degrees from their homeland, you know, and then they're able to come here and get a job. I also find it interesting. A lot of times when I've been in hospital settings, you know, for whatever reason, they can barely speak English.
And I hear that a lot, especially on the West Coast.
Yes, barely can speak English. So that's, you know, kind of, you know, mind boggling. My brother was telling me a story. He goes to this Popeye's chicken out here. It's in Long Beach, right? It's owned by a black dude. So he had a kind of a mixture of employees, both black and Hispanic. I guess some chicken wings starting to come up missing. He automatically blamed it on the black workers, right? And so my brother went in there again. Every time he goes, they talk, hey man, how you doing, brother? If he's, you know, there in the store. And so they would conversate kind of outside, you know, just chit chat. And he was like, yeah, I had to let all the black people go, man. They were stealing all my chicken, you know, blah, blah, blah. So my brother was like, first of all, how do you know it was the black staff? And number two, you know, you think that white owned Popeye's chicken, you know, spots or whatever other one, if they find out someone is, you know, stealing, within their own group, that they're just going to stop hiring them, period. Right. You go find another reliable, you know, black person to hire. You don't give up on them. So he was just like, man, you know, I have to kind of tell him, like, man, that's not how you do it. You know, you run your business how you want to run it. But as a black man to another black man, you have to also see what's wrong with what you're saying. You're grouping all black people, you know, in a negative way. And then you don't even have technically any proof that they were the ones that did it, because your employees were a mixture of both.
And that's us internalizing white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? That's us viewing ourselves through the lens of the white supremacists, right? You know what I'm saying? And so that's a sickness that we got to get rid of, that we got to purge from out of black society. And I see we got somebody backstage back there. Who is that? That's
Cuzzo. That's my cousin. Tanisha.
I'm gonna bring you on in just a second. Let me finish playing what the sister was saying in the room, and then we're gonna get your reaction to it. All right. All right, hold on.
Well, I would have what the justification is. Is it a cultural thing? Are they running a business that has something to do with black culture? Because a lot of times when we have businesses, we want to have people in the business. It's like hair care. A lot of us, we do hair care, stuff like that. So we want people working around us who are familiar with the cultural nuances of Black society.
And that absolutely makes sense, right? I totally get you there. But like, no, I know directors, you know, like I know people. And I have a friend that has a marijuana company, like a very known company, and they refused to hire. I remember a white girl sent an email saying, you know, she wanted to be on the team. And my friend was like, I don't hire white people. So because I do plan on being a powerful Black person in this society, I don't want to get into trouble when we say we can be racist, because we can, and we are gaining power. And I don't think once we gain power and we, you know, we sit in these seats of power, I think to do what white people have always done historically is just going to set us up for a big old cycle. It's like gang warfare, you know? It's like, oh, they got us, so we're going to get them back. And we're going to get somebody got to stand up at the end of the day and be like, wrong is wrong, period. Period, period, period. Or we're just going to keep doing the same things. We're just going to keep going back and forth with the same toxic cycles.
Okay, but shouldn't there be equity? I'm not talking about an extreme where somebody's being discriminatory. We don't want to promote that.
Okay. And when she said that, I think a lot of people got triggered when she said that part right there, right? And so, again, you know, I always God is in this. And I could be a little bit naive sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I'll admit that, right? I'm not quick to just throw people on the coon train like that. I was listening to what the sister was saying. Am I breaking up? Am I freezing up?
No, you're fine.
All right, let me stop this. I'm gonna stop sharing that. Cause I'm getting ready to bring Cuzzo on the screen. Matter of fact, let me bring Cuzzo on the screen real quick, and I'll finish explaining. You ready? You got your hair dib and all that? All right.
We got a lot of
Let's get Cuzzo ahead. What's going on, Miss T? How you doing?
How y'all doing?
Good. Thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate you. So
my hair not calm. It's all good.
That's
all
right.
good though.
You still beautiful.
You know what I mean? You pushing on through. Pushing on through. And so like I always say, you know, God is in the nuances, right? And so I think what she was trying to say in that portion of what she said, was she was trying to say, okay, you know, we're not always going to be in this position to be subjugated. We're gaining our power. You know what I'm saying? This is our time. And pretty soon we're going to be reclaiming our power. And when we get on top, we don't want to perpetuate the same thing that we were taught by them, right? We don't want to become the Black supremacists when we do gain power, because, okay, we're saying that Black people can't be racist because we don't have the power to practice racism. But she's saying when we do get our power, are we going to practice the same thing towards them and just keep repeating this cycle? I think that's what she was trying to say there. Not that we can be racist, practice racism in that sense right now in the position that we're in. But she's saying just the mentality, you know, once we gain that power, are we going to just, you know, treat them the same way that they treated us?
But she also said that, well, no, because my friend had someone that applied for a job, and because she was white, she said no, you know, and like Jackson said, that's prejudice, not racism. It is a difference, right?
There is a difference.
What's his name? David Banner made a good, he said something, I believe it was on the Breakfast Club, you know, a while ago, is basically, why shouldn't Black people be racist, right? Maybe that's our problem, is that we're not racist in a sense that we put ourselves first. Lions, you know, protect and link up with lions, bears with bears. Why do we have a hard time with Black and Black, you know, being on the same accord or supporting one another, hiring one another, and putting each other first? Why is that a bad thing?
Indeed. And that's along the same lines of the teachings of Dr. Anderson too, when, you know, you talk about how race is a team sport. Right. Racism is a team sport. So we need to play as a team. So yeah, I completely could get with that and understand that. What's your thoughts, Cuzzo?
Well, I think like I said before, I think we're too forgiving anyway. So I don't think we could be racist. And me and my mother, we were having a similar conversation. And like my cousin, like nyctegur said, us Black people, we don't have, like she said, we're not racist. We don't have a mafia. We don't have a protection or anything. I think Black people, if we did obtain power or get the things that we want, I don't think that we would be racist. I think we'll be too forgiving and we'll forget about all of it.
Because that's not in our nature.
It's not in our nature. And we've been taught to forgive. That's been taught to forgive our enemies and things like that. So I don't think we would be racist.
And also
slavery, though, we've always had abundance, right? Which is the reason why they were able to come into Africa and steal. We didn't look at it as, you know, we're going to keep all this, you know, for ourselves. We always had abundance, which meant that we were always willing to and able to share. They came over, right, and stole and killed and pillaged and stuff because they didn't have that same nature as we had. And we still carry on that same nature now. We don't even have much now, but a Black poor person will feed a hungry person before a rich white one will.
Facts. And that's a good point. That's goes along with the point that I was going to make as well. If, you know, when we gain our power, we wouldn't have a reason to practice systematic racism against anybody, because let's go back to what's the purpose? Why did they create systematic racism in the first place? Right? Again, we said it's a welfare system because they can't compete on an even playing field. That's not an issue that we have. We're fine with the playing field being even. We're fine with competition. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, we practice sharing, you know what I'm saying, and fairness, because we understand that there's an abundance of wealth, there's an abundance of resources, and that it doesn't have to be just limited to our group. Also, we're in tune with nature. You know what I'm saying? Nature is not against us. We're not allergic to the sun. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything in nature is not trying to eliminate us off the planet. We don't have an innate fear of genetic annihilation. Like, this is the purpose of them creating this system in the first place. It's for their survival. Without the system, they cannot even remain on the planet. If they was just kumbaya and they didn't have put the system in place to deprive people and to keep people, you know, under their boot, if they didn't have that in place, nature would take them out. You know what I'm saying? Because they're foreign to the planet. They only been here a couple of thousand years, 6,000 years the most. You know what I'm saying? They're Johnny come latelys. We are one with this planet. You know what I'm saying? So we're a part of nature. They're not. They are actually like a mutant. You know what I'm saying? They're like a birth defect. You know what I'm saying? They came from us through birth defects.
So now that you said that, so that's what these movies and stuff like that, like the X-Men and all this stuff come. So they're actually telling the stories of themselves in a way. Right, indeed. The whole mutant thing versus, you know, the human, except they're not putting, you know, a black or a white face on it.
Indeed, they use metaphors, they use allegory. You know what I'm saying? And they send those signals to each other because they pick up on. They know how to speak in code, and they know how to read signs and symbols. They don't have to speak explicitly. You know what I'm saying? That's something that they took from us when they erased our history, when they erased our way of life from us. Our ability to be able to just pick up on things through osmosis. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why they suppressed the drum. They weaponized the drum because the drum was always a form of communication. You know what I'm saying? The different ways that we dealt with nature. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was the plant world or the animal world or whatever, it was always different forms of communication that we had with each other. And so by them stripping us of our language, stripping us of our religions and our way of life and all of that stuff, we kind of got out of tune with that natural part of ourselves, and they picked up on it. And so now they practice it, and we don't even catch on to it.
Right. Even our language, which is, you know, when which we learned from Tariq, thank him again, that, you know, the slaves came up with their own language, was the Tut language, right? I know it, by the way, y'all. I got it.
Wait.
Let me tell you something, though. Let me just explain this, though. I cannot speak it. I can communicate with you in writing and reading, though. Like, speaking is long. I don't want to say I can't speak it. It's just the pronunciations I have to get down. But I can definitely read it. I can communicate with you 1,000% and know exactly what we're talking about.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. I'm all right.
You all right? I got it. I just can't speak, man.
I'm all right. Like when I'm looking at it, I can kind of decipher, even though I can't break down word for word what's being said, I could decipher the gist of what somebody is trying to say. You know what I'm saying? I can look at a paragraph and be like, okay, so I know what they're talking about. I can't spit it verbatim, but I could pick up on, you know, what's being said.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to you on that, man. That was a complicated language that our ancestors came up with. You know what I mean? Out of nothing.
Out of nothing. Again, here we go again, making something out of nothing, right? So that we can have something of our own, so that we can get our get this boot of white supremacy off of us. And the only way we can do that is, you know, developing a language that they don't know, so that we can communicate with one another, so that we can get off these plantations.
Thank you guys for contributing on the Cash App. Definitely appreciate you guys contributing on the Cash App tonight. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all.
Thank you, Tanisha, for joining us tonight. Your mom's out there?
Nah, she just left today. She went back home.
I saw y'all posting. I thought she was still out there. I gotta come visit. I'm coming to the app.
I just want to say I enjoy you guys, and I got to get off because I got to get my son in the tub. So, but thanks for having me.
All right, go do your mom thing. Appreciate you hopping on.
Okay.
Have a good night.
See, move that. Okay, boom. See?
First cousin, by the way.
That's your first cousin on your mama's side?
My first cousin. Yes. It's my uncle's daughter.
Okay, that's what's up. Shout out to Cuzzo. She always tuning in, engaging in the chat and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate it all, y'all.
Social media.
Peter Ogun, you ain't want to hop on Peter Ogun? I thought Peter Ogun was gonna click that link. But you know, you dropping some heavy stuff in the chat. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. You know what I wanted to also bring up, because I saw this article today. It was on CNN. I think I shared it on my social media, but this black guy basically completed a job application. He got the job, right? But they told him, and you're going to have to cut your locks, though. You know, in order for you to, you know, you're going to have to abide by our, it was Los Angeles. So here in California, it says black man job applicants suing an employer over hair discrimination and demanding an apology and policy change. But the company said it's just a misunderstanding. He just misunderstood. Like, how do I misunderstand that you told me I'm extending to you this job offer, you got the position. However, you know, you have to cut your hair. It cannot come past your shoulders, you know, and no, pulling your hair back is not going to be acceptable for this position. So how is that a misunderstanding? Right. So now that he's gone public and decided to sue them for it, they're basically saying, no. Now you don't have to cut your hair and the job is still yours if you want it.
Trying to clean that up real quick. And somebody probably going to get fired.
Right. And but again,
not fired, but transferred.
Right.
Yeah. You know how they do. Right. They might let you resign or transfer you to another department or put you somewhere else. But
so hiring our own, you know, when we're in positions to do that, you know, we can avoid things like this happening because, you know, this is our natural habitat. This is what is natural for us. You know, you're telling me that I have to fry my hair with a hot comb and put perm products in my hair, which we know now causes fibroid tumors in Black women. It's connected. Getting your hair relaxed is connected now to women getting fibroid tumors. You know what I'm saying? So you're telling me I have to do all of this in order for me to get a job with you because I have to look more, I guess, Caucasian than in my natural habitat, my natural, locked, beautiful, kinky hair.
Indeed. Well, I think, okay, well, we got a little bit of time. We're about to get off of here in a minute, but if you want to tap in real quick, Peter Ogun, just click that link. Viewer One just posted the link right there. We ain't gonna be on here too much longer though, but you know, you're welcome to click the link and add on real quick. You got something to say?
I'm telling you, when my son first got his locks, I'll say he's been locked now for 3 years, going on 4. And I've had family members ask why he locked his hair. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my son told me today. Zaire. Oh, let me mute my mic.
Is his name Zaire?
Come here. This is my son Zaire, y'all. This my soon to be 18-year-old.
Oh my God, a man.
Go ahead, they can hear you.
Basically, what happened was we had walked in a pizza shop, and a white lady had came up. She was like, "Hey, can I ask you guys something?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" She was like, "How do y'all get your hair like that?" And I looked at her, and I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, how do you get your hair to like look like that? I'm like, you just twist it up. She was like, so you just twist it and it just comes like that? And I'm like, yeah. And she like, so is yours curlier than his because your hair is curly?
And him and his homeboy, they both got the same. They both got locks the same way. You know what I'm saying? But that's like that passive microaggression type of shit that they do to try to test you out. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's what I was telling them. I appreciate you, sir. That's what I was telling them. I'm like, that's the test that they try to give to see, you know, if you're on the coon train or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised she ain't asked to touch it. I'll be telling my little one, you know, he's 6 years old. He got locks. He been having his hair since he was born. And I'll be telling him, don't let nobody touch your hair when you go to school and all that. Don't let them ladies touch your hair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He know what time it is too. He'll say something.
Mine has never had an issue, you know, with other people in reference to his hair. It be our own. Why did you lock your hair? Oh, it's because your mom is into Black Power stuff and all this stuff. Like, that's little crap he had to go through, but he's never had anyone else like outside ask anything or try to touch his hair. Once we were in the mall actually last year, and it was a Hispanic dude that stopped us and was like, "Can I ask you something? You know, can my hair, you know, get like that?" And I was like, "Well, he had his professionally done, you know." Well, actually, I started them, you know, but I couldn't get them to lock, so I had to find someone, you know, to make it lock because it was unraveling when I was trying to do it. But yeah, he just wanted to know the hookup on where to go so he can get him some too.
Yeah, no doubt. So I just want to point this something out from my post that I put up yesterday before we get out of here. Let me share the screen real quick. So I put up this post on my profile trying to educate some of the young artists out there.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's the end of the year, and usually at the end of the year, Spotify has this thing that they send out, not even just to the artists, but even to the users. They'll send you out the end of the year wrap up to show you all of the music that you've been listening to throughout the year. What have you listened to the most? Who's your favorite artist? You know what I'm saying? That you've been streaming. And for the artists, they'll send you, you know, your numbers, how many streams you did this year, and blah, 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 blah. So a lot of people have been posting up their streaming numbers for the year. You know what I'm saying? And so I found it interesting, and I thought it would be a teachable moment because it's this rapper. He's from the West Coast. His name is Locksmith, underground rapper, real dope rapper, by the way. That nigga spit. He nice as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he be spitting some conscious shit too. You know what I'm saying? But I had recently shared one of his freestyles on my Facebook page. So you know how that Facebook algorithm works. Once you share something, then, you know, they start showing you more similar stuff. So his Spotify wrap up popped up on my page, and I seen, okay, he did like 7 million streams or whatever. Let me share it. He did like 7 million streams or whatever, and, you know, he put up a post, you know, thanking his fans and stuff like that. And so I wasn't trying to get at him or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I just thought this would be a good teachable moment because I got, my son that was just on the camera. My son Zaire. He's a hip hop artist. His older brother is a hip hop artist as well. And these are things I be trying to teach them about how the industry works and what's the appropriate way to go about trying to, get yourself heard and make a career for yourself. If this is what you really want to do, you don't have to be in that old school mindset of, okay, I got to get a record deal. I got to get signed. And you know what I'm saying? And because now when you go to these record companies, the first thing they want to look at is your streaming numbers, your social media numbers. You got to already be popping. Right. Back in the days, you signed a record deal for the purposes of getting popping. The record company put the money behind you. They got you on the radio. They put you on BT, MTV. They got you popping. Nowadays, you have to already be popping for the record label to even consider signing you. So my thing is, what do you need them for if you already popping?
Right.
You don't really need them. You know what I'm saying? You could leverage the audience that you built naturally via social media and really get a check for yourself, really get the bag for yourself. So I put up this post, you know what I'm saying? And I used some of what Ryan Leslie was talking about with the method that he used, because he took his music off of streaming services and he went directly to consumer with his music and got a big bag out of it. You know what I'm saying? And he's been teaching a lot of other artists how to do the same thing. And so for me, it was just a teachable moment, but he actually came on the post because he felt some type of way. And so I said, this is a message for my young artists out there who are pursuing a music career. Don't let them trick you into chasing streaming numbers. Let's use the hip hop artist Locksmith as a case study. In the last year, he did just over 7 million streams on Spotify, which is equivalent to just under $30,000. That's how much they're going to pay you for 7 million streams. Wow. So I said, you could make that working a $15 an hour job, which is about to be the new minimum wage. Not to mention, he probably has to split that revenue with his team or his label, whatever the case may be. And then I posted the stuff that Ryan Leslie put up. So let me just show y'all. I did the math. He did 7.7 million streams. He was thanking his fans for that, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? If that's your idea of success, that's fine with me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I wasn't trying to diss him or nothing, but I was just showing people, okay, if you do 7 million streams, that's $28,000 on Spotify.
In 1 year?
In 1 year. You know what I'm saying?
So he's like making minimum wage.
Exactly. But that's, now, don't get me wrong, he's making more money than that because, he's streaming on other platforms as well.
Okay.
YouTube, Tidal, Apple Music. So the revenue is going to come from all of those platforms. He's also doing shows. You're going to get paid for your shows. If you got merch and stuff like that. So there's other ways that you can make money as an artist. So it's not just that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, what's up, Peter Ogun? He found his way in the room.
There he is.
So what's going on, fam? You good? Can you hear us?
Good, man. Loud and clear. Peace.
Nice. Peace. All right, let's
my good brother.
Yes, indeed. Let me just finish making my point real quick.
No doubt.
And so, I was just showing those numbers, right? And you could go on my page if you want to hear the whole breakdown of what Ryan Leslie was saying. I ain't going to play that, but I just wanted to show you how he responded. I didn't expect him to respond at all, especially not in a negative way. But he was like, please don't use me in your case study. You obviously don't know anything about the music industry. And so, I kept it cordial. I said, it's not showing everything on here.
I think I have
it's not showing everything on here.
You said I wasn't using your case study to disparage, brother. I'm just doing math. I don't have to be in the music industry expert for that.
Yes. And then he said, I was going to explain, but I figured why bother?
Right.
And so I'm like, well, if I could stand to be corrected, if I said something that's wrong, just correct me. Like, we just trying to educate the people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then people started kind of going in on him in the comments, and he blocked me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he blocked me. I wasn't even following him.
Really personal. He took it really personal, or as a dig, and it wasn't a dig.
It was not a dig. And again, I wasn't following him on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I think he's a dope MC. I don't listen to his music like that, but I know that he could spit. Like if I see that he's doing a freestyle or something like that, I already know he's gonna kill the shit. So I'll check that out. But I couldn't tell you none of his songs. I don't listen to his albums and shit like that. But he's a dope MC. I respect him I respect his craft. But I wasn't trying to diss him. But what's going on, Peter? You good? Go ahead, sis.
I'm good, man. How y'all? Great build tonight, man. Great build tonight.
Look, I'm an artist and I'm sitting about my shit. He should have just asked about you a little bit.
Exactly.
What's up, Peter?
Peter Ogun, lift your camera up just a little bit. The top half of your face is cut off. There you go.
We only can see up your nose.
Yeah, I kind of did that for a reason. I'm not real big on having the full face.
Oh well, okay. Well, do your thing, because I know you be wearing you be wearing the Pharaoh mask in most of your videos and all that too, with the cap real low. So if that's your thing, that's your thing. Don't let me take you off your square.
Oh no doubt, man. I like to put the culture forward. You know, that's something when I went into business for myself, I said, you know what, I don't want to be the face of my brand. I need the people and the culture to be a representation of what I'm pushing forward, you know. So love the build tonight, by the way, man. Y'all been doing an excellent job, man. I appreciate y'all.
You just froze.
Probably like a week behind on the podcast, but it's all gravity, man. I tap in all the time, man. No doubt. It's just hard to catch y'all live because of my schedule.
And so am I doing good? Can you tell that I'm nervous every week?
Okay, it's a little choppy over here.
Yeah, you're freezing up a little bit. It's probably delayed.
Well, look, man, I'm not gonna stop the bill. Yeah, I'm not gonna stop the bill, man. It was great tapping in, man. We'll do this again soon.
All right, but before you go, shout out your business and let people know how they can get with you.
Man, I appreciate it. The Peter Nappy Collection, LLC. I have a media brand. It's KBLK Good News 77, where I just put on for Black excellence. I do commercials, things of that nature. And then the clothing is the Peter Nappy Collection, all underscores on Instagram. And Peter Stones. I'm also into the metaphysical healing when it comes to the copper wrap stones and crystals and things of that nature. So Peter_Stones with a Z on Instagram, the Peter Nappy Collection with underscores under each word on Instagram. And then, I'm sorry, correction, because KBLK is on Facebook. It's, no, I'm sorry, it's Peter Promo on Facebook and KBLK _Good News 77 on Instagram. So I got a 3-tier, and I don't like saying small business. I have a business.
That's right.
A 3-tier business where I'm putting on for the culture through the clothing, and I'm actually revamping all that right now. So I've been quiet. The metaphysical side of the business with the crystals and the stones, shea butters, Palo Santo, sage, and things of that nature. That's what I'm pushing right now. And again, you know, just revamping a lot of the clothing, man, to keep pushing the culture forward.
Indeed.
So that's where I'm at, man.
That's what's up, family. So y'all make sure y'all tap in with our brother Peter Ogun. You know what I'm saying? Check out what he got going on as well. Appreciate you hopping on, brother.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, what I want to say to you real quick too, Peter Ogun, is a lot of that stuff can be intertwined. You know what I'm saying? Even though you have multiple things going on, it all centers around you. You know what I'm saying? And you are the energy behind your brand, behind your products, behind your services. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to have all of these different pages going on, because you can confuse the audience. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to send them here, there, people get confused and then they get frozen and they don't act at all. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when we have too many choices, we end up not making a choice at all. You know what I'm saying? So if I was you, just my advice, you know what I'm saying? I would refine it down to really one page. You could really have all of this stuff on one page, if you what do you call it?
Link tree?
Optimize your page, you know what I'm saying, in a way that is comprehensible. You know what I'm saying? So people can understand exactly what it is that you do and what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? You could really put all of that stuff under one umbrella. And I think that would help to propel it even further, faster. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my 2 cents. That's just my 2 cents. I only posted Peter Nappy just for that reason. See, she couldn't keep up. That's what she's trying to say. She couldn't keep up, so she posted the Peter Nappy page. But thank you, viewer one. Appreciate all your hard work in the chat. Shout out to the So Us Show in the building. What's going on? So Us Show. My first time seeing you in the chat. Appreciate you tapping in. We about to get out of here in a second. We coming to the end of this broadcast, but make sure you catch the replay and some of the other replays as well. We definitely got some good content here for you, brother. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and share this out on your social media platforms. You know what I'm saying? Oh, so that was my Black business shout out right there for the week.
Yes.
Peter Ogun. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it.
That's it. Well,
I think that's it. Again, family, remember, make sure you're following us on all social media platforms. I'm at Sincere Love to God everywhere. My co-host is at nyctegur, the #1 on Instagram, and without the one on all other platforms. Make sure you guys are following us. And again, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you like the page on Facebook, follow the page on Facebook as well. We will be coming at you each and every week with more content. Make sure I'll let her do that part. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I always say, this was a good build tonight. Great conversation, nyctegur. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say, we are not the master teachers. We are only the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new Black media.
And make sure you guys tune in on this Wednesday on our Black Business Showcase. This week we will have an organization, not necessarily a business, but Black Kids.
Nonprofit, right?
Yeah, nonprofit. But it's about Black children. So Black children are our business. So we're still going to have them on, called No Racism in School 1865. We will be talking to the founders of that organization on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, make sure you guys tap in with us this week for another great episode of the Sincere Love the Godcast as we take you all back Black to the future.
Black to the future. Black. Yes, indeed.
Do for self or suffer the consequences. The wisdom of Elijah's inside of the conscientious. So I move.